The midnight message. Olivia Reed blinked at her monitor, the design mock-up blurring as she reached the 14-hour mark of her workday. The Phoenix Media Group offices stood empty at midnight, her desk lamp creating an island of light in the darkened open floor plan. The company's biggest pitch of the year was tomorrow, and as a junior designer, she'd been tasked with last-minute revisions that her supervisor would undoubtedly present as his own work. She saved the final version and stretched, glancing at the bottle of Merlot she'd smuggled from the office kitchen, leftover from a client celebration she hadn't been invited to attend. One glass wouldn't hurt, especially after the day she'd had. Her phone pinged with a notification from her ex, James. Another casual check-in that somehow always happened when he was between dates. 3 months since their breakup, and he still assumed she was waiting for his return. Enough, Olivia muttered, pouring herself a generous glass. She'd waste no more energy on someone who'd never valued her creativity or ambition. The wine warmed her throat as she scrolled through her contacts, thumb hovering over James's name. She'd deleted and re-entered his number twice now, a fact her best friend Charlotte never failed to mention during their weekly brunches. This time would be different. This time she would tell him exactly what she thought, then delete his contact permanently. Olivia typed quickly, the words flowing easily after months of rehearsing them in her mind. I still think about you, but not in the way you hope. I think about how I dimmed my light to make you comfortable. I'm done living in shadows. Don't contact me again. She pressed send with vindictive satisfaction, then immediately froze as she noticed the name at the top of the message. G. Thornton, not James Mitchell. No, no, no. Panic surged through her as she stared in horror at her screen. Gabriel Thornton was the enigmatic founder and CEO of Phoenix Media Group, a man she'd met exactly twice in her year at the company. A man who'd recently returned from expanding their European division and added his contact to the company directory with instructions to reach out with innovative concepts. Olivia had dutifully entered his information last week, never imagining she'd accidentally send him a midnight message that sounded like a romantic rejection. She frantically typed another message. Mr. Thornton, I am so incredibly sorry. That message was not meant for you. Please disregard completely. The 3 dots of a response appeared immediately, making her heart sink. He was awake. Of course he was awake. The man was legendary for his around-the-clock work ethic. Considering I can't recall doing anything that would make you think about me at all, I had assumed as much. Who dims their light for Gabriel Thornton? His unexpected response, almost humorous, made her blink in surprise. Before she could formulate a reply, another message appeared. Since we're both apparently working well past reasonable hours, may I ask who I'm speaking with? Olivia's fingers trembled as she typed, Olivia Reed, junior designer. I'm finalizing the Westridge presentation for tomorrow, and dying of embarrassment. The response came quickly. The Westridge campaign. From the preliminary concepts I've seen, you shouldn't be working in anyone's shadow, Ms. Reed. Heat crept up her neck. He'd seen her designs? More importantly, he knew they were hers, not her supervisor Richard's, who had a habit of presenting team concepts as his own creation. Thank you, sir. That means a great deal coming from you. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then reappeared. Who was the message actually intended for? Olivia bit her lip, debating how honest to be with the man who essentially controlled her professional future. My ex. It was a long overdue goodbye. Sounds like he didn't appreciate what he had. The unexpected personal comment from the notoriously private CEO made her stare at her screen in disbelief. Everyone in the company knew about Gabriel Thornton's business brilliance, his ruthless acquisition strategies, his demanding standards. Nobody knew about him as a person. He kept his private life carefully guarded from media and employees alike. That seems to be a pattern in my life, she replied before she could overthink it. The wine was making her bolder than usual, but I'm working on breaking it. Starting with midnight manifestos to exes and CEOs. Interesting strategy. Was Gabriel Thornton actually bantering with her? Olivia found herself smiling despite her mortification. Not my finest professional moment, she admitted. On the contrary, your honesty is refreshing. In my experience, authenticity is rare in corporate settings. Olivia considered her response carefully, perhaps because authenticity is rarely rewarded. This time, the pause before his reply was longer. A fair observation. I'd be interested in your thoughts on the creative culture at Phoenix sometime. But for now, finish your presentation and get some rest. Miss Reed, I have a feeling tomorrow will be an interesting day. Olivia stared at his final message, her heart racing with a strange mixture of professional dread and unexpected connection. She had just had a midnight conversation with Gabriel Thornton, one that had somehow veered from mortifying mistake to something almost personal. As she packed up her designs and turned off her desk lamp, Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that something significant had just shifted in her carefully structured world. Whether that change would lead to professional disaster or something entirely unexpected remained to be seen. Office tensions. Olivia arrived at the office early, hoping to avoid an awkward encounter with Gabriel. The Westridge presentation was scheduled for 10 a.m., and her supervisor Richard was already taking credit for her designs as the team gathered. "I spent the weekend refining this concept," Richard announced, displaying Olivia's work on the conference room screen. She bit her tongue, a familiar battle between speaking up and keeping her job waging silently. Just as Richard began elaborating on his creative process, the conference room door opened. Gabriel Thornton entered, commanding immediate attention in his perfectly tailored suit. His presence at a mid-level presentation was unprecedented. "Mr. Thornton," Richard stammered, "we weren't expecting you." "Clearly," Gabriel replied, his gaze sweeping the room before landing on Olivia. "I wanted to see the final presentation myself." As Richard continued, Gabriel interrupted. "This concept has an interesting blend of innovation and market awareness. Who developed the core design elements?" Richard hesitated. "Well, as I was saying, Ms. Reed," Gabriel stated rather than asked. "This carries your signature aesthetic from the Brightline campaign last quarter, doesn't it?" The room fell silent. Olivia's heart pounded as she managed to respond. "Yes, sir. I worked on both projects. I thought so." "Continue with your presentation, Ms. Reed." Richard's face flushed red as Olivia found herself taking over. Throughout her explanation, Gabriel asked insightful questions that demonstrated he'd been paying attention to her work long before their accidental text exchange. When the meeting concluded with enthusiastic client approval, Gabriel approached her. "Your midnight efforts paid off," he said quietly. "Good work not dimming your light today." His reference to her message made her cheeks burn. "Thank you for the opportunity." "I recognize talent when I see it, Ms. Reed. Perhaps it's time others did too." As he walked away, Olivia caught the speculative glances from her colleagues. Something had changed, but whether it would benefit or complicate her career remained unclear. After hours 3 days later, Olivia was working late again, implementing client-requested revisions to her now acknowledged design. The office was deserted when the elevator doors opened and Gabriel stepped out, looking surprised to find her there. "Ms. Reed, still burning the midnight oil. Just finishing revisions," she explained. "And please call me Olivia." "Olivia," he repeated as if testing how her name felt. "Only if you call me Gabriel outside of formal meetings." He pulled up a chair beside her desk, closer than any CEO should sit to a junior designer. "Show me what you're working on." Their professional discussion about design strategy gradually shifted to more personal territory as they ordered takeout. Gabriel's usual reserve melted away as he described his journey, from graphic design student to media mogul. "Started Phoenix because I was tired of watching. Brilliant creatives have their work commandeered by mediocre managers," he admitted. "Yet here we are with your Richard doing exactly that." "It happens everywhere," Olivia shrugged. "Creative fields are full of people taking credit for others' work." "Is that why your ex didn't appreciate you? Did he take without giving?" The unexpected personal question startled her. "Something like that. He wanted my support for his dreams but found my ambitions inconvenient." Gabriel's expression darkened. "I've known people like that. My ex-wife married the founder of Phoenix Media, not the designer who worked 80-hour weeks to build it." This glimpse behind his carefully controlled image revealed a man who understood what it meant to be undervalued. Their eyes met, and for a moment Olivia forgot he was her boss. He seemed to forget too, leaning slightly toward her before catching himself. "It's late," he said abruptly, standing. "I'll have my driver take you home." In the back seat of his luxury car, Olivia wondered if she'd imagined the connection between them, or if Gabriel Thornton was indeed becoming more than just the name on her paycheck. Crossed lines. The success of the Westridge campaign transformed Olivia's position at Phoenix. Her concepts were suddenly in demand, and Richard grudgingly acknowledged her contributions during team meetings. But not everyone celebrated her rise. Vanessa Harrington, marketing director and Gabriel's former flame, watched Olivia's growing influence with obvious displeasure. "Quite the meteoric rise," Vanessa commented, cornering Olivia in the break room. "Gabriel must see something special in you." The implication was clear in her tone. "He recognizes good design," Olivia replied evenly. "Gabriel has always had unique tastes," Vanessa continued, "but mixing business with pleasure never ends well. Trust me, I know." Later that week, during a department review, Vanessa made her accusations public. "While Olivia's work is adequate, we should acknowledge that personal connections can influence professional advancement." A heavy silence fell across the conference room. Olivia felt her hard-won credibility crumbling until Gabriel's voice cut through the tension. "If you're suggesting Ms. Reed's success stems from anything other than exceptional talent, Vanessa, you're mistaken." His voice was dangerously calm, though I can understand why someone might project their own history onto others. Vanessa paled as Gabriel continued. "What I find particularly disappointing is the suggestion that I wouldn't recognize extraordinary work on its own merits." He paused, then added words that changed everything. "Even if I have grown to care for the person behind that work." The admission stunned the room. Olivia felt simultaneously vindicated and exposed, her professional accomplishments now inseparable from whatever was developing between them. That evening, she typed her resignation letter with shaking hands. Her career had always been her priority. She couldn't allow it to be undermined by whispers and speculation, no matter how she felt about Gabriel. Message received. Gabriel found her clearing her desk the next morning. "You're running away," he stated, closing her office door. "After all your talk about not dimming your light?" "I'm protecting my career," Olivia countered, handing him her resignation. "Yesterday made it clear that my work will always be questioned as long as people think there's something between us." "And is there?" The directness of his question caught her off guard. "That's not relevant." "It's the only relevant thing," Gabriel insisted. "Everything else can be restructured." He placed a folder on her desk. "This is a proposal for a new design innovation division, reporting directly to the board, not to me. You would be its director, with complete creative freedom and a team of your choosing." Olivia stared at the document. "You created a new division for me?" "I created a division our company needs, led by the person most qualified to run it." He moved closer. "Your accidental text that night made me notice you, Olivia, but your talent and determination are why we're having this conversation now." "And what about the other part?" she asked carefully. "You said you've grown to care for me." "I have. More than is probably wise." His usual confidence gave way to unexpected vulnerability. "That night you talked about living in shadows. I've been doing the same, hiding behind the CEO title, never allowing myself to connect with anyone who might see the person behind it." He took her hands in his. "Your misdirected message made me realize how rarely anyone in my life speaks to me with genuine emotion." I couldn't stop thinking about the woman brave enough to reclaim her light. Olivia studied him, seeing not the billionaire CEO but simply Gabriel, a talented designer who'd built an empire yet still understood the struggle to be truly seen. "If I accept this position," she said slowly, "there need to be boundaries. Professional first, with whatever this is between us developing on its own timeline, without power imbalances." Gabriel smiled, the first genuine smile she'd seen from him. "I believe that's called dating, Olivia. People normally start with coffee, not midnight text confessions." "Nothing about this has been normal," she admitted, returning his smile. "So, coffee tomorrow? As equals, not as CEO and designer." Olivia nodded, accepting both his proposal and the possibility of something she hadn't been looking for but had accidentally found, a relationship where neither of them would have to dim their light for the other to shine. "I think I'd like that," she said, "though maybe we should both keep better track of who we're texting." "On the contrary," Gabriel replied, his eyes warm with promise. "I think your messaging is perfect."